I've attended my fair share of conventions, Anime Con, New York City Comic Con. There was also Blurred Con. TwitchCon was definitely the biggest one that I've attended. Throughout the past 5 years, it's safe to say that I've been frequenting a lot of these conventions, and they were good experiences. I will tell you that. But there are some conventions that are just not that good. And with that said, we need to talk about the situation that took place in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we had the Barbie Dream Fest that ended up being another epic fail of a convention that took place this past weekend. This event was dubbed the ultimate Barbie fan experience, where you have 3 days of glam, nostalgia, and dream big energy. And believe it or not, people have paid hundreds to be a part of this 3-day event. I mean, like, we're talking $500 to be a part of this 3-day event, or maybe even more, and we're going to be breaking down how this all came down. I think it's important to look into the Barbie Dream Fest and dissect it a little bit like a frog in a science lab, so we can get a better understanding as to what kind of beast of a convention that we are dealing with here this time. We have the Instagram page for the Barbie Dream Fest. You can look at their posts, and their post seems okay, pretty consistent with the colors and the designs of everything. They even were advertising that you would get to have a chance to skate in a disco roller rink, which is actually pretty something exciting for the kids. And then they even had a long list of special guests, including Serena Williams, as you can see in bold letters at the top. And then they also had a marketplace that they would have in their convention as well. So there's a lot of things that they're hyping up for this convention. Now, this is the very interesting part here. We really need to look into the passes that they had for the Barbie Dream Fest. So on the day pass, you have for $70 adults, $30 for kids. You have access to programming for 1 day, of course. You have access to the marketplace, and you also have access to purchase autographs and photos. But then when you go to the $450 price tag, you gain access to the Dream Pass. So it includes all the perks, such as all 3 days access to the Barbie Dream Fest. You have priority queue for the main stage. You get $50 coupon for autographs and photos. You get a special swag bag, and you also get access to the Barbie Dream Fest 2027 pre-sale. For a limited time, you can buy a $500 icon pass for a photo op with Serena Williams herself. You also gain a reserved seating for the award ceremony, and you get access to the Barbie Dream Fest for 3 days. Now, I did read the fine print, and it said that the Icon Pass is something that you can add on top of your General Pass or Dream Pass, and that pass alone was already $450. The Icon Pass was $500. So that means, child or adult, you would be spending up to $1,000 just to gain access to this event for 3 days, assuming you want every single perk, privilege, benefit out there in that convention from A to Z. Now, when I said I wanted to dissect this, I'm not joking with y'all. Like, we are really gonna get in on this. So this was basically the website for the Barbie Dream Fest. There's not much going on. I kind of jumped on this kind of late, but I did do a little bit of digging, and I saw at the very bottom of the webpage, we saw the Mischief Management logo. I just want to say this. I think this name is so true. Like, this is so honest, it's ironic. Like, you have Mischief Management that's responsible for a failure of an event. So we pay Mischief Management a visit. This is their official webpage. I went to their About Us page, and it says Mischief has been bringing fans together since 2009 by producing world-class fan conventions, podcasts, fan sites, and more. Mischief aims to celebrate and encourage enthusiasm for pop culture and fandom. For more than a decade, we have been producing events and media that speak to the vibrant and passionate fan communities in and around pop culture and entertainment. We believe that by embracing the enthusiasm within these communities, we can create a more exciting world together. So I was looking in to see if they've done conventions like this before, and they seem to have done maybe one in the past, and that was the Broadway Con of 2026. It seemed to have already happened. I didn't hear anything about this, so I'm assuming everything was pretty smooth. with this convention. I didn't even know this convention was even a thing. And as a matter of fact, they even have another convention coming up in July called Enchanticon, which I think is more fantasy focused than anything else. So for a company that's been around for a whole decade and all we see is just 3 conventions that they've done, all of which is taking place this year, it seems kind of fishy to me. It's like, what other conventions have you done besides these 3? How is it that you've been a company since 2009 and these are the only 3 conventions that you've done? Now, I'm excited to show y'all this because this is actually the bad and the ugly behind the Barbie Dream Fest. This is already the main grand entrance to the convention, and the inflatable entrance that we have here, it looks like something that you would get from Temu. I'm sorry. Like, someone did an interview and they're like, yeah, it looks like they got this from online. I'm like, girl, just say they got it from Temu. You can say Temu. It's okay. And the dream house that they promised to those attending the convention, that's it right there. It's just a cutout cardboard box that's serving a backdrop for the convention. It's so terrible. It's like, imagine someone just promising you like access to a mansion, but then instead of a mansion, you show up and it turns out to be a studio apartment. And then it's like, oh, well, this is supposed to be like a cozy thing, you know? So we have this studio here that is like being in a mansion. It is so bad. 80s disco roller rink that we were talking about, this is it. That's really it. And the craziest part about this is that there were no adults allowed in the roller rink. This was only for kids. So that means you had a significant number of people that was attending this event that had no access to the roller rinks, even though the adults themselves paid the most to experience this.
But it's only for the disco ball.
They
can't spin.
I just have questions.
I have just as much questions as you do, probably even more. Why were there no lights? Like, there were barely any lights. Like, it wasn't even like a party. It just looked like, oh, a place where you like practice how to roller skate. Then you also had no music, which is actually crazy. Like, I was watching that video and I was like, wait, there's no music here? Like, who goes rollerblading or roller skating and there's no music? Like, usually I hear music. So to see that was just really cringe. Now, if you take a step back, and I mean literally take a step back and you look at the convention, was a lot going on. Like, there were some booths, of course. They did serve food, like there was food and beverage. The only complaint from what I've heard or what I've read is that the options were very limited. The food wasn't really healthy. There were no healthy options, by the way. There were some panels and main stage events that also took place at the Barbie Dream Fest. People did mention that the sound was very spotty in the placement of, say, the stage, the people that were like seated on the stage to do their interviews and everything. Could have been a lot better, but other than that, people were able to host these events. Also, there were photo ops. People paid to do their photo ops. They had a fun time here. The only issue was that there wasn't really any brand ambassadors to provide a little bit of sense of hype, you know, into this whole event. That was the only thing. But other than that, it really seemed that people took the opportunity to actually make the best out of this fest. Despite everything that I've listed that was okay, it could have been better about the Barbie Dream Fest, it was still a failure at the end of the day. You even had fans that were really upset at Mattel because they felt that Mattel signed off on this convention. A spokesperson for Mattel, Barbie's parent company, said the event was, on quote, created by Mischief Management, which licensed the Barbie brand from Mattel. We're working with Mischief Management, who are managing attendee feedback and issuing full refunds to everyone who purchased tickets. We want every fan experience to be an excellent one. Mischief Management confirmed in a statement that the company will be providing full refunds to everyone who purchased tickets to the event. Mischief Management is incredibly grateful to everyone who joined the Barbie Dream Fest, bringing fans together alongside Barbie role models, designers, partners, and global icons who embodies the true spirit of Barbie was at the heart of this event. Barbie Dream Fest was created as an intimate fan convention designed to foster meaningful connection, inspiration, and closer access to Barbie and her world. Misfit Toys Communications, which helped announce the event in conjunction with Mattel and Mischief Management, said in an email that the company terminated its contract. with the event producers in October on, quote, due to lack of payment and our concern that the event was not shaping up to be what it was originally described. Speaking on Mattel, I get it. Of course, the spokesperson with Mattel would speak up and say, hey, listen, we had nothing to do with this event. All we really did was just talk with Mischief, I was about to say Misfit, Mischief Management, and we just gave them the license to Barbie so that they could host this event under the Barbie name. I think from a legal sense, yes, that is fair. All you really did was just hand over a license. But I really think the people at Mattel really needs to do a better job vetting people that want to utilize those licenses, especially for events like this. Now, I do want to take a moment to speak on a particular conversation that people are having about this, how people are comparing the Barbie Dream Fest to Fire Festival or the Willy Wonka experience, which I will say this and I will speak for myself. I think that's a little bit sensationalist more than anything else. I don't think, from what I'm seeing, this is nowhere near the Fire Festival or the Willy Wonka experiences. Like, I've looked into both Fire Festival and the Willy Wonka experience, and they were terrible. But I don't think the Barbie Dream Fest was as terrible as the Fire Festival or as terrible as the Willy Wonka experience. Let's take a look at the Willy Wonka experience, right? 2 years ago, I did a video on the Willy Wonka experience and how that in itself was an epic fail of a convention. It was a one-day convention. The guy on the left was using AI-generated imagery and content to advertise this convention, which turned out to be a failure. And people dug information about him and they found out that he would publish books that were AI generated. Then you want to talk about the Fire Festival. The Fire Festival was a colossal fail. Like, we're talking about young adults participate in what they would advertise it as the biggest music festival in world history with all of these big name celebrities and singers and rappers, whatever, only for them to sleep in FEMA tents for days and even eat, I'm sorry, slices of whole wheat bread, cheese, and tomatoes and lettuce on a styrofoam container. And let's not forget, this guy, Billy McFarland, he's scum of the earth. This man was a legitimate scammer. He literally went to jail as the result of the Fire Festival. So when people talk about the Barbie Dream Fest, and they say, oh, this was a scam, this is like the Fire Festival, I'm looking at it and I see everything that's going on at the Barbie Dream Fest, and I'm like, this is nowhere near the Fire Festival. This is light years ahead of the Fire Festival. The Fire Festival, all they had was tents, and that's it. Tents, no internet, no plumbing, nothing. And they only had styrofoam where you can eat your whole wheat bread and cheese and lettuce. That's really it. At least at the Barbie Dream Fest, there were main stage events. There were booths to attend. There were activities. There were food and beverages. There was plumbing. And most important of all, you are getting your money back. There are kids that spent thousands, mind you, tens of thousands, and they have not gotten their money back. They literally got scammed. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, Billy McFarland is probably watching this video and he's blushing right now. Billy McFarland really just said, fuck y'all, like, I'm not giving y'all your money back. Like, even though he went to jail, there's a lot of money that has not been accounted for, and it's really unfortunate what happened. But other than that, I think the comparison is really just sensationalist. People are just exaggerating. Yes, the Barbie Dream Fest is a terrible event. Yes, they did fail on many promises. Everyone that attended that event is entitled to their money back. But to equate Barbie Dream Fest to the Fire Festival or the Willy Wonka event, it's like, I think we're dragging it. I think we're stretching it a bit here. And look, the cynical part about this, right, is that no one is going to jail over this. Like, this whole Barbie Dream Fest situation is not a scam, because they're already issuing refunds as we speak. If they wanted to, Mischief Management could say, all right, the Barbie thing was a whole fail. Let's tackle a different IP and we'll just take it from the top. and that's really it. Everyone just moves on from their lives. But all I'm saying is, if you ever see a random ass convention that's plastering your favorite IPs all over their Instagram page and they're asking you for $400, $500 for a weekend pass, maybe you should do a little bit more research on the company that's actually handling that event before you start dishing out hundreds or even thousands of dollars for that event. Until then, this is Progeny. If you made it this far, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see y'all in my next video. Peace.